And we are live back this time for Star Wars The Skeleton Crew. I gotta say, I have been anxiously, anxiously awaiting this show for so long. It has been just the longest and most insane amount of wait just to get to this moment in time. This series is going to have a lot of pressure on it, an insane amount of pressure considering how the rest of the year has been for Star Wars. Let's talk about that before we enjoy the show. All right, guys, Brent here, back for Geek Variants. We cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, the Skeleton Crew. And I gotta say, there's only a couple primary concerns going into this series. As far as the bar being set high, it's not really there. I'm the only one that's putting any pressure really on this show, and I'm putting on it for very unfair reasons. This show is not setting out to go be something different. It's not setting up to be something grand. It's not something supposed to be just magnanimous and stand above the test of time and be the absolute best thing that's ever happened since I don't know what. But what this series is supposed to be is a bounce back for Star Wars. And to be honest, I think it's long since overdue. 2024 could possibly go down as one of the worst years for Star Wars content, period. There has been literally next to nothing that you can sit there and hold your hat on and be like, this was a great showing. This is what Star Wars is about. This is what captured the original authenticity of the series and added new twists onto it. And some people would sit here and speculate and say, no, the Acolyte, what about this? What about that? We covered some stuff in the lore. We covered some stuff over here. That's not how that works. You have to capture it the right way, like my friend Antonio. How you doing, my friend? Haven't seen you in chat in a long time, but again, we haven't been live since the amazing Penguin ended. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Happy late Thanksgiving to you. But again, this series needs to have something solid behind it. And the fact that we have Jude Law as a kind of a sounding board for this series is fantastic. And he understands the weight and the pressure that Star Wars fans put on with everything. It's just kind of how we are. It's kind of what we do. We disagree for the sake of disagreeing. If you've ever been in a Star Wars chat, you can fully understand there's going to be arguments. People are just going to go back and forth about the smallest inclination of things. At the end of the day, everyone loves the same thing: Star Wars. It's a galaxy far, far away that captured the magic of the late 70s and early 80s. And then once more again in the late 2000s, well, the late 90s and early 2000s with even more classics. And then everyone says that somehow Disney destroyed all of Star Wars, but then gave us Rogue One. It gave us Andor. It gave us Ahsoka. It gave us the finishing of the Clone Wars. It gave us the Bad Batch. It gave us the early seasons of The Mandalorian. Like, Disney has given and Disney's missed. What we all fail to realize is every company hits and misses unless apparently you're Larian, in which case you just couldn't miss if you wanted to. The amount of good fortune and goodwill that company has moving forward after its last project with Baldur's Gate 3 is absolutely amazing. And well, I guess Amazon kind of falls into that same category where Amazon has been just dropping banger after banger after banger the entire year. It started off with Invincible. Went on to Fallout. It had The Boys season, I don't even know what going on. And then next year we're gonna have a couple spin-offs to go into the finale. Yeah. Sign me up for all that. I'm keen on that right now because Star Wars has just dropped the ball. It has lost its way. And this show is supposed to encompass all those good feelings that we had as a kid. This is going to be a children's show first and foremost. So I'm not expecting the writing to blow me away. I don't have the anticipation of this needs to redo how Star Wars is all done. Sure, it takes place in the same time period that The Mandalorian takes place. So no matter how we look at this, it's going to be presented as canon and it's going to be presented as something that we have to hold as true, as opposed to the Acolyte, where it happened 100 years before a couple major historical events. So we can just go ahead and go crumple that up, throw it out, move on to the next project. And with this project, we have a really, really good place and good sounding board for a lot of stuff. My main concern wasn't even a concern I naturally had occurring. I was having a conversation with someone today, and they're like, the only concern I have going into this is, What if Jude Law doesn't know how to act down to child actors? I was like, that's something I genuinely did not consider at all because I thought Jude Law would be able to carry everybody up. But again, sometimes when you get an actor who's amazing, think Christian Bale in Thor: Love and Thunder, and then you think of what was happening with Chris Hemsworth in Thor: Love and Thunder, and you think one amazing actor, Chris Hemsworth. One of these things could have carried the film. The writing didn't allow him to, or he was edited out because he was taking the film in the actual direction it was supposed to go. And then the other one was Thor. This could be a tale of we have Jude Law trying to carry on this beautiful masterpiece and help us excel and shine into this new universe and really put things in a huge, grandiose perspective. Or he could just look like a fish out of water because he's just absolutely killing it, and through no fault of child actors or otherwise, they just aren't able to keep up with the same pace. I hope we get a nice level footing, a solid story, and something fun that everyone's kids can enjoy. That's what I'm looking for in this series. I'm not looking for us to redo the whole canon, redo the whole lore. Keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it enjoyable for all of us viewers. Episode 1 and 2 has just dropped. We're looking at a 49-minute start time for episode 1 and 32 minutes for episode 2. And friendly reminder for those just popping in, once more, there'll be no audio or video within this magical box here. What you're going to want to do is pull up Disney Plus on your own, watch it over there, and have the conversation with us in the chat as the episodes are ongoing. I'm pulling up the episode now, so Antonio, you know the drill. Sync up at head and enjoy some amazing, ideally amazing Star Wars content because that's what we all hope for. No one wants to sit here and bemoan past titles or things that they did right, things that they did wrong. We just want to sit here and enjoy some content that can be something good moving forward for the franchise. Not Star Wars is here. If this comes out good, we have something positive we can say that can really, really change the perspective of a lot of people. Because if you're able to capture that magic and nostalgia that we had as kids in this series, this could be an absolute banger out of left field. I mean, it's not going to rival the Penguin, it's not going to rival Shogun, it's not going to rival Fallout, but it can be really, really good. And that's all we're hoping for. I don't have any crazy idea of what's going on. I just want things to be good. The episode is up on this side of the screen for me to watch and enjoy. Be sure to pull it up on your side of, your screen. Pull us up on one stream and let's have that great geek conversation that we always do. Again, we'll try and keep it as civil as possible. So we'll see how things turn out overall pertaining to the series. I hope it's fantastic and captures that nostalgia and magic that we all enjoyed as kids. That's the best thing we can have happen here. Because right now, something that looks like a Goonies and Star Wars had a love child, yeah, that looks really good. That looks really exciting, and it looks like something that could be very promising. Yeah, and I don't blame you, Antonio. Star Wars hasn't necessarily been giving a lot for people to sit here and be like, 100%, I need to pay attention to this. I need to pay attention to that. It's just been a down year. And it looks like we're starting off with no build up whatsoever. We're just getting straight to the meat and potatoes. And it looks like we get pirates nice and early. Wow, that is incredible looking. They're just trying to rob somebody. Nice shock and awe opening. Kind of reminds you of like a New Hope, to be honest, on the opening. Very interesting to see. Of course, they'd be nervous because they're dealing with pirates, and that's something I feel Star Wars didn't touch upon enough is how expansive their universe is. Somehow everything still takes place on Tatooine. Doesn't seem all that ideal. Yeah, everyone's pretty much a sharpshooter for the most part. Oh, he took one to the eyeball and just kept going? Is that natural? Is that normal? So, oh, there we go. This is a lot more action packed than I thought it would be for the first opening minutes of this. Not sure the pacing's ideal, but if you start off with a big bang, it's hard to keep that same energy throughout. But this is exciting. This is almost like Rogue One esque, but you don't have the same emotional attachment, so I don't know who's who doing what. All I'm gonna imagine is I think the Pirates are making the necessary moves and winning. It looks like for the most part, yeah, they're coming out on top. That is an actual space wolf. That's crazy. I don't know what race he is. That's oh, he just works for somebody else. That's crazy. That sounds like Jude Law's voice. Well, they were protected. So Silvo is the person supposed to be here. All right, we're really selling the whole Pirates gun thing, huh? Yeah, that is crazy efficient how they got that going right there. Hmm. Hmm. That sounds like Jude Law underneath the mask. How's it going, Jorge? How's it going? Hopefully you're enjoying the skeleton crew. Hoping for this to be an absolute banger. And that vault is entirely empty. Silvo, your crew is going to be a little upset with you that they don't even have Beskar or anything of that nature. Yeah, I think Silvo is going to get betrayed here, and it's going to be a straight up Shanghai. Yeah, one Republic credit. I gotta do it. That is not going to do it. Yep, and there it is. The beauty. Sending care of events. Well, yeah, there's no way Silvo's going to be able to fight all of them all. Well, oh, that's the rise of that captain there. That was pretty easy. Very, very straightforward for all intents and purposes. Nothing too crazy to worry about there. But that was an exciting opening. That's promising. I like that. And that's something that basically all of us did as kids with with our action figures growing up. Made all the different voices, or was that just me? Go ahead and throw that out there. Mm, mm. Eh, we're gonna double down on the green milk. We double down on the green milk. Couple credits for the kid. Go ahead and manage his lunch. Credits look pretty cool. Now, do not spend your lunch money all in one place. Get the voices in my head while I play it. I mean, I said it out loud. I was unafraid of being crazy. Only boy, middle child. My action figures went through some crazy, insane battles, most of which the dark side won. It just made sense to me. But again, I get why people root for heroes. I just wanted a different ending for everything. So we have a single dad. We have a kid running around. Very exciting. The upbeat music looks like this is a what is supposed to be like a utopian style world. It looks like everything's just a little too perfect. That his friend or yeah, it's his friend. One of them actually has a fake lightsaber and the other one has nothing. So good luck with that. You know how that ends pretty quickly. And the fact that they're playing the music as is entirely great. Oh, that's unfortunate. And their school makes fun of galactic suburbia, basically. Oh, wow. So they do not like the bus driver at all, but again, these school kids, maybe somewhere between 10, 12. This kid is just lost in the lore. Wonder what kind of Easter eggs they're gonna just kinda drop there for everybody. Hmm, hmm. And just 2 kids riding around on speeder bikes all by themselves, completely uncomplicated. The kid who's paying attention somehow doesn't notice the guy staring at his monitor like his life depended on it couldn't. Interesting to see, but I really kinda like this world they've built up. It's very refreshing to be in a Star Wars universe. That's not on Tatooine, not on Coruscant. It is actually somewhere else kind of expanding what the world can be. It takes place during the Mandalorian time period, Antonio. So basically, everything that's happened in Mando is 100% canon, and everything that's going to happen in this, I'm presuming, is going to be 100% canon as well. It's basically copy and paste. So it's after the fall of the Empire, but before I believe we get to everything involving Rey and all them. That ding sounds eerily like a Japan train bus stop. If you've never been, which beautiful country, highly recommend. Okay, their math is more complicated than I got you lost me. Math was not my best subject, so cool little tables though, where you're able to kind of like mess what's going on here, but that teacher's definitely gonna catch him goofing off and kind of looks like using it like an etch a sketch. For those old enough to remember what those are. Yes, he etch a sketched a drawing of a Jedi again. She doesn't look all that fun, to be honest. Time out of my very busy schedule. Fantastic. They have career assessment tests? They look like too young for this, but the one test, whole life. Fun. I feel like there's so many, like, books about utopias that always follow the same exact formula. To to the great work that they're probably doing. What? So that the blue alien likes the green alien. Okay. And now she's gonna pick one at random, and it was, of course, the kid who's not paying attention and is struggling to make eye contact. I don't know what the snap was about, but let alone something like this. So droids are replacing everyone else. And that kid is kind of apparently the class bully, but she only has a thing picking on this one kid whose name still has to. So Neil is a blue alien. I gotta write that down. Neil has got a very interesting look to him. It is kind of goofy, but again, children's show. And, ah, okay. He's kind of filling the same role of um, what's his kid? The guy who did the Truffle Shuffle in Goonies. Neil feels like he's filling that same exact role entirely. And we have these two kids who just seem to be living their best life entirely. completely unafraid of what society rules are or regulations or anything. Hmm, near miss 3 times already. Oh, and you broke your engine. Well, RIP to the sweet ride. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Not the best way of doing things. Gotta walk their bike back home, which means they'll run with these 2 who are desperate for adventure and anything exciting to go what's going on. Neil seems content with his life. Wim, on the other hand, not really doing that great. Well, I mean, at least a positive. He told me I had a big test I never studied for the next day, just automatically assumed the C is the best I'm going to get things going on. And then Wim, only child, dad works a lot. No mention of a mother anywhere. We'll see how that eventually goes. So he's just left to let his imagination kind of just run wild as he sees fit. This kid's whole eye goggles thing is fantastic. It's definitely a look. Yeah. Firm, dangerous kid. Mm, yeah. Mm. All right, speeder bike bullying is apparently a thing. So their life is so safe that they hate it. Got it? Kind of makes sense. Mm. I did not catch the name of the kid with the goggles, but that look is fantastic. Don't know if it's just like for seeing purposes or just for visioning through things. Is that in on a mural? Don't, Troy, don't do this right now. Do not snitch on me. Don't start this. There you go. Let's not ruin this for everybody. Your backpack. I don't think anyone's buying that, but good try. Hmm, interesting. So her mom is trying to push her to be insanely studious, which causes her to be rebellious because she's being held back. Wendell is his father's name for Wem. I can't do any of this math. Don't look at me. Math is definitely not the Geek Variants strong subject here. Mom used to, so the mom didn't make it, I would assume. Father's trying his best, but is missing the mark entirely. Bedtime story is a bedtime story. We all have our own rituals and things we go through in order to fall asleep still as adults, for the most part. He spends his life daydreaming about things are more exciting or more interesting. He spends his entire life on this tablet just flipping through reading about, the Jedi or the Sith and their rather interesting history. So he's gonna be basically kind of our lore expert as we go about things. He'll accidentally know the right information or something rather important. It is weird that the top of their house kinda looks like a holocron, but, you know, holocron here for reference. Well, oh, well, overslept for testing. Those look like it's a training wheel version of the bike. Not necessarily gonna be ideal. Sheesh. The thing flies, and there was a little ramp off the side. You just hit it like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, come on. That crazy rocket science here. And the shortcut is gonna lead to him finding something he's not supposed to in a crazy situation, probably. This is a huge school. People have been busy on this planet. Neil, I would probably focus on your own work. I want the robot. Sit down. Shut up. I'm not dealing with this. Yeah, I think the shortcut went horribly, horribly awry. But again, I can't imagine it took this long to make this situation happen and then not necessarily, make it on time to them. Because Fern is the one who should be the leader, but I think for any unfortunate circumstances, Win is going to end up being a bit of the leader. Yeah, I don't think you're going the right way. Yeah, that's a cliff. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, thank goodness it was a small drop because otherwise he would have been toast. Well, you're gonna take your bike and go forward, or what? What's the play here? 'Cause Wim, you are definitely looking like a loser with a capital L right now. You're gonna have a lot of redemption to do, but again, that's the great part about character progression. Started at the bottom, only one way to go. I don't think that bird or whatever that was is gonna help. I don't know why you wouldn't have just stuck to the main road that you knew, knowing you have a bike, then tried to use the shortcut. If you really want adventure, you should have been training your body a little bit more to endure these styles of situations. Oh, you unraveled something you shouldn't have. That is very metallic, almost looks like a door. It's laying off there to the side. Wonder what that really could be. Dig our way out of this, figure out what it is. This has been there a while for everything to build up on this solidly. Wow. Hmm. The robot was able to find him and get him out of the ditch. Fantastic. Cool robot for the win, but again, now we have Wim who's gonna be way too curious and is gonna have to circle back to everything going on there. What is Fern doing here about having to see the school proctor? Is her school proctor like her mother or something? Kind of a big deal there. Weird conversation. Don't know where to go with it. So Fern, of course, decides, let's bully the kid who's super, super sensitive and mess with him. Is it? Oh, he's dead. Oh boy. Every single question to pass? That's insane. But again, I guess promptness is something they want to have tested, which to me doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, but Mm. So of course Fern is gonna get interested and go take a look because curiosity gets the best of her and she just wants to continue on rebelling as long as she can. Oh wow, a space circus? Bizarre. Hmm. So Neil's up in his room. Very nice. Are we really just gonna barge in on this kid taking a bath? I know he's an alien, but like, my goodness, privacy. Nah, there we go. Good conversation. Good talk. You can't promise that. We shouldn't have promised that. There's absolutely no way you can guarantee that this wouldn't be an issue for somebody or something. Because of course they're gonna go out and go look. Are they really playing walkie-talkie like 5 feet apart? But again, as kids, the simplest things bring the most joy in life. So they'll find it, and it turns out to be completely covered up again. Hmm. Those bikes look pretty cool though. You cannot do both. You can barely do one. You can even remember to, know, show up at the right time for your assessment. Considering one of them is supposed to be smart, the fact that neither one of them took the ability to fall into this hole to be something that could have happened is embarrassing. I mean, valid. It's not like they're exceptionally light. If there can be junk in the middle of the woods, that's usually where junk ends up. And this is just going to be an absolute prank. Did he really just yell that? That's embarrassing. Huh. That's going to come back into play later on. Why are they having a Wild West showdown over this? Kate, thank We are really playing the Finders Keepers game right now. Well done, everybody. Without a shovel. You came to dig something out without a shovel. Who is her grandpa? And no, she's making up some crazy backstory again. She's just terrible at lying. But somehow I almost fell for it, so gotta love that. I don't know why she has the incessant need to do like the edge lord kind of thing, but hey, kids, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Get everybody sucked in, and then she's gonna hit it really, really hard, just to mess with everybody. Yeah, I mean that was kind of funny. Yeah, when you couldn't run out of the ditch, and then reverse psychology. The mind of a child, truly brilliant, but also semi embarrassing to see how everything's going for our boy Wem right now. Fern has clearly supplanted him as leader without even trying. But now it's going to get late. People are going to wonder where their kids are. This is going to be a whole situation. And we still have yet to figure out how Silvo is going to plan into anything here because we still need to see what exactly happened from the mutiny there. And this gentleman looks a lot like the guy who does the video of the come here on like either Instagram or TikTok, whichever one you call him, made content creator of the year. Got that same kind of aesthetic to him. Definitely wrong energy though, because he's a very, very strict parent. Very, very strict. Probably filling in the gap for the fact that there's mom passed, which they still haven't stated how. We have one shovel. They only brought one shovel. KB is the moral compass of Fern, but again, will it be something worth finding? Who knows? And she's just basically trying to figure out how to race again. Oh, that's one way of figuring things out. Fun comment section. Anyway, back to the actual everything that's actually going on here. And watch this. Oop, nice and easy, just like that. One down. Who's next? And now we find the mystery ship. What could possibly be lying in there? There's never a stated time jump, so we can't say that it's necessarily Silvo's. But again, can't say anything without any level of certainty on that. Very old, very abandoned, tons of loot, but anything worth grabbing, who can really say? Mm, figure it out, everybody. Let's get everything together real quick. I just Sit quietly for a little while. Hmm. So his dad actually went looking for him. That's fantastic. Finds the helmet, assumes probably the worst. Yeah, he's definitely going to be in a lot of trouble. Mm. He's that I'm right. What about it? Can we really find that ascertains what's right or not? That kind of looks like a K2SO droid. Remnants of a droid. It's pretty crazy. And then, of course, Neil's gonna figure out what's gonna. Yep. Accidentally turned on the ship. And of course, everything's on sham. That's a big problem right there. That is the biggest problem you could possibly have. Yeah, for adventure, yeah. He's happy to see something positive going on, but again, whether it's something like worth it, who can say? Hmm. KBC really seems to be the only one who's got a level head going on, and Neil's just kind of follow wherever the wind may carry him. He's he's got a good life. He's got a good selection process. He'll be fine. There's nothing for Neil that he needs to really worry about right now, for any and all intents and purposes. But of course, typical Scooby Doo style, but also yelling when you're alone in a ship that you don't know. That going on here is not the best alternative for anything. That is a mirror. You'll be fine. As long as it's not one of those magic mirrors I'm going on here. But he is a little sensitive about everything else going on. Neil, you maybe could have lost a couple pounds there, but really unfortunate situation for you. No, hit it harder. There you go. And everything magically got fixed just like that. You turn the power onto a ship by hitting things really, really hard. Very interesting thus far. With one headset. Okay. What are we the headset for? That's what I'm curious about. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Just grab the hatch, get out, mind your business from there. But again, Wim is one of those people who's not going to follow simple instructions, and of course, will touch the button he's not supposed to. Yeah. That's a problem. Yeah, you touch one button, and then you nearly decimate the entirety of your friends and potential crew. Again, also, if you didn't claim to be defensive, things would be much better state overall. Just saying. Yep, the droid's back online. That's something. But now you're blasting off his face. It is yet to be determined if it's before or after Mando, Antonio. It's yet to be determined. And now he's gonna be like, "Are you kidding me? You found your son," but of course, the natural response will be to run from whatever that is and just kinda get moving. 'Cause this is not the ideal situation. Yeah, a rather large starship that got buried by tons of stuff. Oh, yep, you're going the wrong direction. Go back. Go back to the hatch. Because otherwise, we're about to lose him to the worst possible situation. Yeah, this is not a great situation for anybody to be in right now. That's the right advice. Hold on for dear life, please and thank you. Does anyone have any upper body strength at all? There we go. We had 3 people for 1. Yeah, I mean, now he's gonna have to go tell the other parent, "Hey, our kids just blasted off in the space." Ooh. Ooh, yeah, that's a tough situation to be in. They're already down misses, and now got this going on. All 'cause he touched 1 green button. Yeah, you need to flip the Yui as fast as you possibly can. None of these buttons are labeled, but I like the enthusiasm. Yes. KB is probably the one I would trust to find the right thing. Oh, yep, they're in space. Was their education literally centered on around 1 planet? They never spent any oh, they're going into hyperspace. That's fantastic. That's not ideal for anybody or anything at this time. I don't think any of our characters are really ready for that. An interesting first episode overall. I know the traditional Star Wars fan will not be thrilled with them, but again, this is supposed to be something that is for kids and to capture the magic that kids once had back when we, were, that age. So at that time, good first episode. Let's see how episode 2 is going to do now. Way out past the barrier. So we'll see if Wim, Fern, KB, and Neil are able to rectify the situation. I would imagine this episode ends with us being introduced ultimately to who Jude Law's character is, whether it'll be something he states as truthful. That is something to be determined. As of now, I have him pinned, pointed to be Silvo. But again, who can say? That could have just been the introduction to our main villain, who ended up mutinying Silvo, who ended up being a nobody. I That's a horrible way of getting out of hyperspace. Yeah, this is definitely a kid show. The mature Star Wars fans are gonna sit here and moan and complain and whine, and that's their right, but again, not necessarily the, correct approach. Yep, and the droid is alive and awake. So let's deal with that situation first and foremost. Because even Fern is going to be put in a situation where she's like, "Yeah, this is a problem. Will the robot be friendly? We hope so. It's just a K2SO robot. They're literally just following the Goonies formula entirely. You're not going to be stronger than the droid. I don't know why you're attempting to go down this road. Oh, well, kind of malfunction there. So basically, you just need to claim Captain Hood and call it good. This robot has definitely seen better days or better years. Who knows how long he has been here? I mean, they were gonna kinda I mean, they were going to try and break in at any point, so SM-33. I see no favor combat. Yeah, that's one way of going about things. I don't know why you go this route as opposed to just claiming the captain first. You don't need to be like, "Hey, I got rid of the old one." 'Cause it's a malfunctioning robot, it's kind of a big risk to assume this is gonna work out. Well, that's one way of doing things. Yeah. I mean, that's one way of going about things. So, I kind of as predicted, Fern was definitely gonna be the leader. Wim is gonna be the person who wants to be the captain, but can't do that. Okay, you can go through this at a reasonable pace. You don't have to jump through every single thing going. Of course, you'll be tracked. At Wim, you're not really allowed to do anything really. Okay, home, again, is vague. It's going to be a monkey paw situation where you're basically stuck. There we go. That out. That is really good. Where he ended up crashing overall, because that would give us a great idea. Yeah, this voice acting is so much better than going for an AI approach to it. Antonio fully agrees. Cannot. Where are we going? Yeah, yeah, that's going to be a problem. You're trying to navigate this great space that they where is not going to be ideal. Genuinely lost. I mean, you can't really blame him for everything that's happened here. Just most of the things. That'd be entertaining, but no. It's a start. Oh, that rat just went right into his eyeball. Okay. We're gonna move right past that. That's perfectly normal. Nothing to see here, folks. So far as this is a kids show, it's very palatable. It's enjoyable for the most part. You have to look through it the right perspective. Every Star Wars fan and be like, "This needs to be appealing to me, my 45-year-old self, who's never been with a single other person in my entire life." That's not how that works. That's not how they're trying to market this. This is supposed to be something that appeals to people who were watching Star Wars back in the late 70s, early 80s. Remember that child in you? Bring that out when you watch the show. That's all you got to do. And there's Mim's dad. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Mm. I don't trust the safety protocol Joyce. Whoever has programmed them has definitely set them up for a default setting of only pushing their own agendas. Well, yeah, there's a lot of dead people. Insert random Plagueis cameo. I mean, maybe that would be wild at some point. Wim doesn't have anything to go back home to. Him and his dad have a rocky relationship, and he's searching desperately for adventures more than anything else. We have a starship. Forget your family. I know you're 10, but they don't matter. Yeah, Liam, I think you're out of touch with base reality, and you've so far surpassed everything that else that was going on that you created kind of a big problem for yourself. That's not ideal. But of course, him going to the starport is just going to further fuel his need for. This is a pirate spaceport. This is not a standard spaceport, and whoever is running it does not like visitors at all. That's fun. I would just be staring at him like you couldn't have mentioned this like before everything because they literally shoved what looks like a planet basically into a giant asteroid, which is cool design. I'll give them that for sure. Yeah, you were gonna want to cling to this droid for dear life. Oh boy, gotta love that. We left the droid behind. We desperately needed him. We needed SM-33. Not ideal. This is a very active hub, or looks like scum and villain. not where you're gonna make your traditional friends. None of the friends you can like bring home to your parents. Someone please grab Wim and keep him close by before he causes an intergalactic issue. Yep, someone was getting kicked in the face back over there. He's asking for money, right? Well, there goes his lunch money. I think he just been hustled entirely. He's gonna put him in his shoe, the typical. I don't think that's necessary, but for a kid show, now we have random puking adult. Nice. Yeah, let's just stare at the aliens carrying a blaster. Yeah, if this group breaks up for any purpose of time, Wim will last all of maybe 5, 10 minutes alive. That was the guy who got shot in the eye, getting his eye repaired. So the wolf pirate is out of here, which means Silvo would, for all intents and purposes, also be here, which would give credence to the Jude Law theory. That is not a place for kids. Do not go in there. And that's for adults. Do not go. And don't keep making eye contact with random strangers. And we already left. We left our leader behind. Fantastic. What the? What even is that? Not sure this interaction is going to go good, KB. Hmm, interesting looking fish. Jellyfish. I'll be right back on camera in just a second. One moment. And we're back. Apologies. And whatever they're making looks terrible. Eh, He's like, come on, pay the cook at least, because that's insane. Gotta love how that works. Oh boy. Old Republic credits. There's a pirate who was in The Mandalorian. Weird little Neil, you need to learn a thing for yourself. Oh, that'll work. Run. The starting a fire and sprinting away is the best option. A lost planet of eternal treasure. Okay. Also, running around yelling help at the top of your lungs kind of draws lot of eyes on you, and then you just knocked over this random person for no reason. Oh, Fern shot something. It's always whim, always about something. So it's a planet that doesn't exist for all intents and purposes, and you've been swindled. Good job, Fern. Oh, SM-33. Nice time for you to make a nice appearance. I don't think he's gonna last that long though, because he looks like he's pretty decently beat up. I don't know why this guy would let him get that close when you have a blaster. I would just have started firing a while ago. He's got a alien in there. Wow, Fern was really gonna leave them behind. Gotta love that. Oh, okay. Probably should think otherwise on that one. Oh, okay. This droid is just fantastic. I don't know what he was made for or programmed for, but he is. Oh, that guy's basically dead. And this market has seen significantly better days. I'm 100% in agreement. Nice little tattoo going on there. Interesting to see how things are coming together. Yeah, there we go. It's like, why can't kids be oh, why did you stuff everything all the way in the bottom of your shoe? Because he's cooked. And that was our only bit of information we had going on. That's a problem. I mean, that's a valid point. And of course, Fern is the first person to talk back. It's jail. It's great. Builds a lot of character. You know, just a lot of alone time, just to think about your future and how the world's going. Well, obvious. That's a great starting point. You don't want to be in the brig. All right. Is this guy really gonna go ahead and be the real hero that we didn't deserve? Because he's doing a thing right now. Now he's just complicated. But again, it's kids giving directions to like a rat, and it's gone. Step 3, tell Wim to stop being involved in everyone's life, which would explain the barrier. Apparently everybody else. But also the lighting is changing from the other side of the room, and no one has looked at that yet or addressed it. Is this gonna be Jude Law's interesting? Which is going to be Silvo. That's Silvo. Fantastic. Jude Law looks absolutely deranged right now. Because Silvo wants the riches. Because no one stayed at all so long as he's been there. Not unless you're a Jedi, which is he truly a Jedi or is he just pulling a fast one on everybody? Because also, if he could have got himself out by now, why wait until 4 kids show up and then all of a sudden you do this? It would be crazy to have a Jedi be running around as a space pirate. But now that's Wim's new idol and mentor, father figure, for lack of better services. Hmm, very, very interesting. Episode was rather short, it was rather sweet and rather to the point. But again, for all things considered, I think it was a fantastic start to the series. It kept a lot of core elements of stuff that Star Wars fans should know, should love, should cherish, should look forward to. And the writing seems to have not really let it down. It doesn't play dumb in a sense, but it's not playing up to trying to pretend it's something that it's not. This show is entirely based for kids. As far as adults covering it, it'll basically be the content creators only. Everyone else just kind of look the other way and call this good. But the series itself was a good start. Jude Law looks fantastic. SM33 was very, very interesting, very intriguing, like Antonio astutely pointed out. I do prefer it when we have droids that sound like droids, that sound like people. There is like almost a metallic kind of sound to their voice, something that makes them real, kind of like how General Grievous had his own aesthetic to him as well. Anytime it's just kind of like an AI, it feels lazy, it feels mailed in, it doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like it lives up necessarily to the hype or to what it really should be true to the character. So SM33 was, in my opinion, I think Antonio's opinion as well, would be the breakout character of the series. Wim is the troubled child who's trying to go ahead and fill the replacement hole that his mother left in his heart through adventuring because his dad kind of like had doubled down on being serious and strict in order to keep his son safe from whatever happened to their mother. As well, we have Fern, who's rebellious because her mom is just too strict. KB, very, very cool design. I love the character thus far. She has a very intriguing look with the eye goggles. I think it's one of one. It's a nice touch. I'm sure there's other, shows that are out there that have something similar, but I much prefer this look right now. It seems to fit her aesthetic as the person who's actually like the one understanding what's going on with the show and actually what's going on with the tech involved in the show, because she's able to pick up things rather acutely as where everyone else seems to have a little bit of a gap. Neil, of course, is our resident crybaby and our person who would need to be constantly babying the along the way, who only thinks with their stomach and is just more concerned about what's going on in his family. But if I was Neil, I'd get it too, because he had a happy life, he had a happy family, he had good grades, he had a good friend, things were fine. So for all intents and purposes, Atten was a hidden planet of just lost legendary treasure, which would explain why it has the barrier around it. The reason no one leaves the barrier, because if no one leaves, then you don't have to worry about the treasure ever leaving or have it ever coming to be under direct attack, because people just think it's a myth, it doesn't exist, it's not familiar to them, it's nothing they need to worry about. This is literally copying and pasting most of what the Goonies had. There's a legendary lost treasure that bad guys are going out to go look for that are pirates. This is a copy and paste clone. It's not pretending to be smart. It's not pretending to be witty. It's not pretending to be something above board. It feels really good to the Star Wars child in me, though. I never really fully grew up or grew out of Star Wars to make it pretend it needs to be something extravagant and this other out of world writing. Let's just be honest. The writing in Star Wars at times is very, very childish, even to this day, even on our most beloved things. We had one legendary plot twist, and that was it. One. There's 9 films. 6 if you want to go back to George Lucas and say only those ones count. That's not really breaking any molds here. That's not making any bold statements. That's just sticking true to what Star Wars is. I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. Hello, Darth Vader jacket. Hello, Star Wars shelf. At the same time, I'm not trying to flex it as something that it isn't. This show is to appeal to the child in you in Star Wars when you were growing up, whether that be the late 70s, early 80s, or if you're the late 90s, early 2000s, whatever the case may be of when you jumped on the Star Wars bandwagon. This is supposed to appeal to the inner child in you and keep things simple, keep things fun. If you got kids, have them enjoy this along with you. It seems like something that's really going to be a very, very good family fun show that's not going to be super witty or super over the top, but it seems to be kind of childish at times. And at that, you just got to laugh, have some fun with it, and not try and take things too over seriously. It was an enjoyable first 2 episodes. We finally got Jude Law involved. I still have reservations pertaining to himself as a character. I still think that he is someone who's using tricks in order to pull things in, but at the same time, there is something to it that he may actually be a Jedi. I mean, at this point, embracing the fact that people say Disney Star Wars is too childish is fantastic. Lean into it. If this is where they're going to make their money, and Disney is all about making their money, do not listen to anything they say politically. Do not listen to anything they say about, being too edgy or about this or about that or about the fans. The only thing Disney truly cares about is money. At the end of the day, as long as they continue to make back the money they spent on buying Star Wars with making more Star Wars products for people's kids to pass on to the next generation, not me, I'm not the target demographic they're looking to appease. It's to kids to continue to grow up and love and enjoy Star Wars, they've hit their mark. That's what they're aiming to do here. That's what the show is about. It's good marketing. Disney needs to lean more into this more than they need to lean into the other side of things, even though I would much prefer we get an adult show. But again, I'm not the target demographic for this at all. So I just need to just be what it is. I mean, a lot of the stuff, seeing this through a child's eyes, everything would pop out even more. You'd really resonate with one of the characters, whether it was Neil, who's more of a bookworm, or you have Wim, who's supposed to be the adventurous, kind of braggadocious character. Fern is definitely someone who's going to be a bit of a problem going forward because she's very, very headstrong. And then we have Wim, who just can't stay out of trouble to save his life. And Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily consider this show a must-watch show, Antonio. I definitely don't think it's gonna be something where it's like The Penguin, where we're on the edge of our seats each and every episode with how edgy and raw and detailed the storyline is going to be and how it, interplays with everything else going on. Will this intersect with The Mandalorian at some point? Yes. Will we have every episode covered on the channel for you, the viewer? Yes. I'm gonna be here each and every week trying to break this down. We have Creature Commandos starting, I believe, Wednesday night at midnight, which it will be James Gunn's first canon official entry, because even stuff with Peacemaker is going to get tweaked a little bit. Creature Commandos will be the first official launch for James Gunn's universe, which is animated. But a lot of the characters look who they are animated can translate to live action. He said there's plans for people to have the potential to do both. So that's something to really lean into. And then we still have What If coming around the pipe, as well as War of the Rohirrim on the 13th, 11 days from now, which I'll have some content pertaining to that when I go ahead and go and see that exciting film. This was a good series. This is a good start. It's intended for children. It's not intended for adults. For those who pretend otherwise, you're just embarrassing yourselves. Just let it be what it is. And as always, if you haven't hit that lovely red subscribe button at the bottom below, go ahead and hit that. Greatly appreciate it as we are slowly working our way up to be tons of amazing stuff. And Antonio, of course, with his shout out to Sophia to end the stream. His one, his only, his truly beloved, who gets to survive for another week. And I know you are mostly not kidding. And that's what we love about you. Appreciate you, Antonio. You made the stream far more interesting than I did throughout. I'm Brett for Geek Variants. I'll see you guys after the episode breakdown. Peace.